So now, because we have the option of using either a file or a database entry for our pages, we can decide which is better for our use case. So let's go through our pages and decide which ones would be better as files and which ones would be better in the database. In this case, for our particular architecture, it makes sense to put content that has a lot of PHP processing into a file, because most likely we'll want to edit that in a text editor rather than directly in the browser. Those files are also probably ones we don't want the end user to manipulate. So let's take a look at our files one by one. So again, I'm in our site folder and I'm going to open up the contact.php file. So our contact.php file doesn't contain a lot of PHP code, just the title, like our about page, but it does include some complicated PHP code that could be easy to break and isn't necessarily something that a content creator would know how to deal with. They may not understand exactly the structure of a form, and so this could potentially be something that we want to keep as a file rather than put in the database. Let's take a look at the next file, home.php. So again, this is our home page, and if we look at the content, it's pretty much just straight up HTML except for this title here. So let's go ahead and import this into our database as well. I'll jump to the browser and I'll click on My Account to go to the administrative page. I'll click Administer Pages and then Add Page, and I'll jump back to the editor here and I'll copy the title and paste it in here. Our path is going to be home.php. Now we're adding the PHP here just to make sure that any paths or references that we're using in our code now don't break. If we want to later remove these PHP extensions, we'll need to do so in the menus, and also for home.php, we need to change the reference in our index.php file. Okay, and then our content. So we'll go ahead and copy all of this between the here doc opening and ending tags. And remember, we need to change this title here to use a PHP print statement. And we'll use a semicolon to end the statement and an ending PHP tag, and we'll click Add Item. So now when we go to Home, we're going to see the page that was generated through our file because it exists and will always pull from the file if it exists. So we need to rename this file or get rid of it altogether. But what I'll do is just rename it home-old. And we'll save that and go back to the browser and refresh. And you see the same thing here, but now we know that it's being pulled from the database. Let's take a look at the next file, which is login.php. Now this page contains a good bit of code. We have a switch statement up here with cases, and inside of our code here we're using URL quite a bit. And so this might be a situation where we want to keep the file in code and not in the database, which we can do, no problem. Let's go back to our pages and take a look at products. Products is kind of a mix. We're doing some PHP code here to render the products, and then we're using that variable within our content here, but our content is mostly HTML. So this is kind of a toss-up, whether it would be something you'd want to put in the database or something you'd want in a file.